Today we're going to learn how to use Premiere Creative Cloud for some basic color correction. I've got three shots for you. I've got a JPEG of a chip chart. I've got a JPEG of a chip chart in an actual shooting situation that needs color correction, and I've got a shot without a chip chart that needs color correction. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to set our workspace to color correction mode, and you'll want to make sure that I'm going to right click in this window here and set display mode at all scopes and make sure that setup and chroma are clicked off, because when chroma is clicked on in our waveform monitor it gets a little messy, and our waveform monitor is designed to read our luma channels. And we have a vector scope which measures our color channels, and then we have the RGB parade which uses the luma values in each color channel of RGB and cyan, magenta, and yellow. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is go into effects and let's type the word crop. And what we want to do is we want to add a crop to our image, effects controls, and first thing we want to do is we want to just show the our grayscale. So I'm going to drop the bottom down to 27%, and we're going to raise the bottom up to roughly 50%. And I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to rename it crop black and white. Okay. I'm going to copy our crop, copy and paste it. Command C and Command V will do that. I'm going to blink off our black and white crop. I'm going to rename this one RGB, and we're going to lower the bottom so that it shows just our RGB CMY values, which is roughly 26%, and we'll want to increase our top, alright, to about 50% for that. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll show our crop for our grayscale. And we're going to right click here, and we just want to display the waveform monitor. Okay, and you'll see that the waveform monitor measures luminance. We've got our white channel, and our white channel is sitting right at 100%, which is what we want. We've got our black channel, and our black channel is down here at 0, which is what we want. And then each of these is a stop of light, and this channel we want to have approximately sitting at about at 60%. So it's all pretty close. Okay, so our three references are white is right, middle gray is right. Well, that's a stop up for middle gray. And then, so here's our middle gray, which is close to 50%. And this is where the bright side of your key face should be. And then we have our black channel, which is black. All right. Now let's take a look at our other crop, and we will set our display mode to the vector scope. And basically for each of these colors, they should be lined up to each of these areas. We've got cyan, we've got blue, we've got magenta, red, yellow, green. And you'll see that these are set up to be opposites. So when you add more green, you're actually taking away magenta. If you add more magenta, you're taking away green. Red is the opposite from cyan, red and cyan. And yellow is the opposite of blue, yellow and blue. Okay, so we'll turn off our crops, and now we're going to add our first color correction effect. We'll clear that. We'll scroll down Video Effects, Color Correction, and the first thing we'll add is our three-way color corrector. Then we'll go back to our effect controls, and we'll take a look at our three-way color corrector. Make it a little larger. And so let's go ahead and use the eyedropper tools to balance our colors a little better. We'll use the black eyedropper, and let's click black there and make that black. Okay. Let's we can continue to pick white, and we'll take our midtones, and let's see if this changes it any. I think I like that a little better. And so now our colors are getting a little bit set up a little better. Let's turn on our RGB crop, and let's add one more color corrector. We'll add the RGB color corrector. Go back to our, and then we will set our display mode by right clicking in this area to RGB Parade. And we'll see that our green and our blue high values aren't the same as the red, and so we'll want to adjust those, and we may need to adjust the pedestal as well. And so what we'll do is we're going to open up RGB, and for each color channel we have 3 settings. Gamma will adjust the middle range, the pedestal will adjust the black range and raise this up and down, and gain will adjust the highlight range. So let's start with blue. We'll take our blue gain and we will slide it right until it just reaches the top. I'm going to hit reset here, and it takes my computer a little bit to spot it, so it doesn't like that. Just let's try 1.05. Okay, a little hotter than that. 1.06. 1.07. That should put us right on the top of it. Alright, and we'll fold that up so we don't mess with it again. And let's mess with our green gain. We'll slide that right a little bit. Slide it right a little more. Too much. So let's try 1.1. .08. No. Come and bring it back down. Let's try 1.05. Nope, needs more. 1.07. 1.05. Okay. Alright, 1.05 is good. And so if we look at our colors, they seem pretty good. Let's take a look at our vector scope. And we're running a little yellow. Let's take off our crop. See what we've got. Okay, so that's a pretty good chart. Let's add one more effect to this. Let's go and we'll do fast color corrector. We'll add it to there. Go back to our controls. And what's nice about the fast color corrector is that it's got a white balance control. So let's just pick that, and let's pick white and see if that changes anything. It doesn't. So let's go into the gray value and change that. Actually, if that's off. Okay, so it actually corrected our blacks and whites a little bit better. Let's take a look at all of our scopes. And so we've got our RGB Parade balanced off pretty good. Looks like we can adjust our luma. Our highlights are a little hot. and our color is looking pretty good. So all we want to do is go back in our three-way color corrector. Let's take a look at our waveform monitor, and we just want to lower our whites a little bit more. Okay, and so now based on the scopes, we've got a good looking piece of video here. So let's go to our second shot, and let's add a three-way color corrector to it. And right off the bat, let's just use the eyedropper on the chart and see what kind of results we get. Setting the black and the white, and then the middle gray. And let's see if hitting this gray tab gives us a difference. Not much. We'll go back to that one. And then we'll just crank down the gamma a little bit. And basically we've got a really good looking chart. Let's take a look at the the waveform monitor. Actually, let's set a crop so we can take a look at that. So we'll type in crop, add that to our shot. I'm going to pull it to the top, and let's just crop out our, so we can see our chart. And so I'm going to right click on that and rename it black and white. And if we look, we'll see that actually we're pretty far off our black level. So let's go ahead and adjust that. Bring down our black. We'll set it at 7.5 this time. And then let's see what. Alrighty, and so our white level is right where it's supposed to be. So even though this is set up pretty well, it's really not what it should be. So what we'll do is we will add a RGB color corrector that you'll find right here in color correction, RGB. And let's take a look at the RGB parade. And we'll see that we only need to make some minor adjustments to finish this color correction. What we'll do is we will start with the red pedestal, because we want to get that down to match the greens. So we'll drag it down a little bit and see where that goes. A little too far. Let's see what 0.4 does. Is 0.3 better? Yep. Alright, actually, we just need to lower it a little bit. Oh, let's go to 0.2. Alright, and our red and we just want to raise the red gain just a hair. Let's see what 1.2 does. 1.02. Alright, that looks good. And we want to raise up our blue gain. Let's try 4, see what that does. A little too much. Alright. So now what we want to do is we want to adjust our gammas so that these all match. So let's start with our red gain. gain and drop this arm down onto the 30 line and see what results we get. So red gamma, too much. Okay, and we'll raise up the blue gamma. All right, and get some pretty good results from that. We've got a nice gray wall and some clean, good looking chart and some normal looking flesh tone. Let's just do one more trick. Let's go back to our fast color corrector and add it, and we'll go to the its white balance eyedropper, and we'll drop it on that gray, and we'll see if that changes anything. There's a slight adjustment. It warms it up just a hair. You can see it because the blue is dropping, and seems to make that gray look even a little more gray. Alright, so now let's move on to shot 3. So let's set our display mode to all scopes. And we'll see that we've got a pretty good range from white to black. Right now these guys are balanced out pretty good, but this is all the flesh tone's all a little too blue. So first thing we will do is go to effects, and we will add the three-way color corrector, and we'll take the eyedropper, and there's a nice black hidden right here under this umbrella, and we'll get a nice white off this car, and then we'll grab a gray tone somewhere on this flesh, and we'll take a look at the YGB parade, and let's add the RGB color corrector so we can mess around with that. Looks like we need to drop our green pedestal down. Let's see what 0.4 does. That's pretty good. Maybe 0.3. All right. And let's crank down the gamma in the three-way color corrector. That's looking pretty good. And then let's warm up the midtones a little bit. So there's our before, and there's our after, and that looks really good. I'm happy with the way that looks. So what we'll do now is we'll place a cut inside the middle of each of these shots, and we will turn off all the corrections on the first point so that we've got a before and an after. And so here, let's turn everything off here. So we have a before and an after, and turn off these guys. So we have a before and an after, and render that out as a file and post it onto D2L.